At least your mom showed up.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to get started for who is on and who's going to be watching the recording. It's our first team call in a while. I think the last one we did was definitely before Summit. So I guess the first big announcement is we are going to be very consistent about having a team call once a month. Like we do, and we'll do more lives and stuff like that, as needed with the releases of things coming out and company and updates and things like that. But it's important. Doesn't matter who's on or who's not on. We're going to do it. We're going to make time for you guys. It's important that that you hear from us and we hear from you. One of the things that Jordan and I talked about is just also calling on you guys and letting you guys be a part of it. Because it's important that we hear from each other, and we can post and we can share about what we're doing, what we're not doing, and I want to do more of that. But I think it's important that we also just are open and we talk and we share things on these calls, like Dave, Martin, and Jenny doing tonight. So we'll make sure to give a little bit more notice. I know it's kind of hard to nail down an exact time every month, but that may be the best thing for everyone, so we can plan around it. Maybe we'll put up a poll and kind of see what works best for everyone. But we'll try to be as flexible as possible, but we do want to be consistent with it. So anything to add to that?
No.
All right. Well, we're excited to hear from Martin and Jenny tonight, and we'll try not to interrupt you guys unless we have any thoughts or questions, but take it away.
All right. So we wanted to start off first with like we actually became coaches and everything. But so I've been a coach now for about like over a year now. I guess it was June of last year. The beginning of June is when I first started, and I started like Beachbody programs and everything in September of 2016, and then once I started losing, I lost about like 40 pounds. So once I started losing the weight and seeing that like this actually works, because at first I wasn't I tried so many different things that I wasn't a huge believer in it. So it was really hard to actually like get my mindset that like I'm trying something new. Let's see if this works, because I tried so many different things and nothing worked. And I lost about 15 pounds, but that was basically because I was breastfeeding and it was basically baby weight. So that was kind of an easy 15. And so then once I started like doing the workouts and everything and seeing the results, and he was doing them with me, and he was seeing awesome results too, that like made me like really believe in it. And so then that's why I started to become a coach, because at first I was, you can ask Jordan, she asked me about it, and about being a coach, and and I told her that I didn't think that I would be good at it. And then once I put like a picture on of my progress and everything, and how much I lost and everything, people started commenting on it, and I was like, you know what, maybe I could do this. Like it kind of got me like motivated to help people the same way I was helped. So so then that's when I decided to become a coach and start helping people too. And in like the first month, I actually I made $100, I guess, and then the second month was another 100. So I got $200 in my first 2 months, and which really like surprised me too, because I tried so many other like MLM companies, and nothing was. It just felt like icky to me. Like I felt like I was like, people buy my stuff. Like it was nothing like personal. It was nothing like, it was more for me than anyone else. And that just, I hated having to like post like, there's a sale, like buy this, or, it just wasn't for me. And then, so I was a little hesitant at first about that, because I'm like, oh, people think I'm just, trying to sell them something again. And because I've tried so many other things. And then, so I was very hesitant at first, and then, but once I started seeing that, like where it didn't feel like it was like gross getting this money. Like it was actually, I was, helping people, and I wasn't, just saying buy my stuff. I was helping them more than they were helping me. So, and that felt way better. So, so that's just a little bit about how I started and everything. And then he started a couple months after me. We kind of just did it to sign him up so that, you know, it'll help me a little bit. And then he kind of saw about like how well I was doing in it. And he's like, you know, maybe if we do this together, it'll, you know, work out in our favor. And which has definitely happened. And he's been, the last month, he's had more time because we were redoing our house and everything that we bought last year. So he was pretty busy, but this last month, he's been helping me, and we've actually seen like, this is our best month yet. So pretty excited about that.
Hey, really quick, tell us about your like aha moment at the Super Sunday that you guys went to. I know you guys got to do that together, and that kind of like sparked something.
But actually, and real quick before you, this will be, I have a question too, but it will be a perfect setup for that. So you talked about how you weren't sure at first, and then you saw results, you shared, and then you saw people's interest. So for most of our coaches are girls, a lot of the ladies want to get their husband involved. Martin, were you skeptical at first? Did you fully support her, but it wasn't your thing? Did it take you a while to come around? Where were you at on that early on? Because I know how I was, and I know a lot of other guys were, but where were you on that?
Well, one of the big things for me, when we started 21 Day Fix, when we first started it, I lost 20 pounds, and I was like, okay, well, that's cool. It's definitely weight loss. And then I kind of got back out of it, and she kept doing it. And I figured, well, I don't have the time or the patience to do this again. I don't have time to work out. I'm just too busy. And then once we tried, we started losing more weight again, and I lost 50 pounds. And I was like, okay, well, just being able to help somebody else, like just talking about it before I even started anything was just like, okay, well, I can do this. And like, literally, if I can do this, anybody can do this. So that was like my aha moment to be like, okay, well, I'm going to stay with this and I'm going to do this. And then for me, signing up as a coach, like she said, it was kind of just to kind of help out.
He believed in it. He just didn't believe that he could do it.
Yeah, because I was like, okay, well, I don't have time to talk to people. And I was like, and I'm not gonna like go messaging a bunch of girls and be like, hey, by the way, you should sign up for this. And I'm like, my guy friends are gonna be like, hey, I like drinking beer and eating too much pizza to lose weight. And so it's like, for me, it was kind of hard at first because I was like, well, I don't see this being something I can do.
Right.
Basically, I was kind of stuck because I was like, yeah, it would be pretty cool to be able to do that, but I don't have the friends to do it. But when we went to the Super Sunday, seeing that group of people just be so like lit up about this whole thing that was my moment where I was like, I got to do this, and I got to do it now.
There was only a few guys there, but like one guy even was like talking to him and stuff, and he's like, you know, am I going to see you at Summit next year and all this? So that kind of like, I think, pumped him up a little too.
Yeah, so I mean, like I was one of 7 guys out of like how many hundreds of people. So but that was my thing, it was like to see all these people, like, as they went down through the list and said like, okay, well, these 3-time diamond coaches stand up. And I was like, whoa, like I know what it takes to get to diamond, let alone 3-time diamond. Then it's like, oh, well, 13-time diamond coach. And I'm like, wait a second. So that was really cool for me to be able to see like where it really could go, not just with helping people in their journey, but also seeing financially where this can really go, because this stuff really works.
And it wasn't just like, you know, these rich people that were up there, you know, it was real life people. Like that was like my thing. Like, you know, she's a mom, like she has kids and she's, you know, working another job and she's still, you know, look at her up there. So that was kind of like our aha moment. Like, you know, if they can do it, then I'm pretty sure, you know, we can do it. So yeah, that was the part about that. But that was our aha moment at that that Super Sunday. So.
What did that? So kind of a follow-up question on that. So what did that? So you guys have been coaches since, Jenny, since September of 16. So a good amount of time before the Super Sunday event. What did that event do for your guys in terms of like reforecasting your goals, or obviously, like when you see what's possible with that, like in real life, like in person, that's an awesome moment. But what was for you guys, just talking, like discussing with what you want, what did that do for you guys in terms of your goals and things like that?
Well, that it really put it in like perspective. Like, you know, we don't have to shoot for just a small goal, because, you know, obviously we can achieve bigger, like with this, like, and because, you know, the whole time I'm thinking, you know, I want to be able to, you know, pay our mortgage every month with Beachbody. But before, when I said it, I wasn't real, like, I in my back of my head, like, I didn't think that we could do it, you know. So once I like saw all that, and yeah, it created belief, and it like it just helped us to like get, like, you know, in a better mindset, like we can do this. Like, we have to keep telling ourselves that we can do this, not that, you know, it's a long way, you know, even if it does take a little longer than we'd like, you know, we could do it, and it's possible. So yeah, that was a big part of that. And that's when I really started, like, after that, that's when I really started like getting everything like working on the business more. Like, before, I wasn't, you know, I wasn't very like consistent with it. So I wasn't, you know, doing stuff every day. It would be here and there. And that Super Sunday was like one of the big reasons that I started being more consistent. And because of seeing the, you know, just being in that atmosphere and stuff, that's when I really started being more consistent. Like, and that's when I started our business started getting better with it. And then he started doing a lot more, and yeah, it definitely paid off. And so yeah, so that's really when we started like getting down the business and stuff with it. And like we're not as like, well, I'm not as organized as some people, like Jen. I really wish I was more organized like Jen. But I do things a little differently. Like, I'm not one to like maybe write as much down. I do. She has goals. I don't, you know, print as much off and write as much down, but I have started. And when I did start doing that, it has helped. So I printed out like you know, what to do each day and everything. Like, it has, you know, all this, the one list that Jen shared before. And so that's when I like really started to do a lot better, when I was actually writing down like who I was talking to, and the messages and all that. So that has definitely helped. And then he's a little more like not like that too, because we're kind of the same in that aspect, which may not be great, but
well, and the thing is too, with my work schedule, a lot of the times, like, sometimes I'm getting up at 5, sometimes I'm getting up at 5:30, 7, 8, who knows. Mm-hmm. So it's, for me, it's like I wanted to be able to get up, do like power hour thing, even like work out in the mornings. But some days it's like I can create that routine, but then one day it's like I worked 16 hours, did 2 different jobs, came home, did a workout, and I'm dead. And then the next day it's like, because my schedule is completely different. So for me, it's really hard to have that that consistency with getting up early and doing the things like that. But what really helped with me is when we came back from the Super Sunday. Before we went to that, like, Jenny and I, like, instead of like when I would get home from work or something and we would be like, hey, let's sit down and work on our business, or let's do this. It would be like, hey, I haven't seen you all day. You haven't seen me. We haven't watched TV in forever. We have our certain shows. So let's sit down and watch Bachelor in Paradise. Sorry, I admitted that. And just watch our shows that we would normally watch. And it's like, when we went to Super Sunday, that kind of like made it click for me. And I was like, here's a comment from Wes. I see it coming. So when we came back, then it was like, okay, well, I can do this. Like, I have the motivation. Hey, you can't tell me there's nothing, girly, that you don't watch.
He does. He doesn't want me to watch it without him. So that's what he's forgetting to say. Sorry.
So anyway, but it was one of those where it's like, okay, well, I can do this, and I need to do this. So instead of coming home and watching Bachelor in Paradise together, we would come back and work on the business together. So it's like we haven't watched TV together in I don't even know how long, unless it's like Super Y or something like that when I get home.
With the girls.
And it's like watching a kids show. So it's like when I get home now, it's like, hey, let's follow up with our people real quick. And then we sit on opposite ends of the couch and they're like, how's it going for you? Oh, it's going good. So, but we're still putting that time in. So basically my time, like she has more time during the day. But my time is basically, instead of sitting down and watching TV, I make myself follow up with my people, put a new post on, and I work out at night too. So it's like getting my workouts done whenever I get home from work. It's like normally I would come in, sit down on the couch, be like, I'm really tired. I got to sit down on the couch. I'm not going to do anything. And now it's like I get home from work, I work out, then I go out and do my yard work or whatever I have to do. Sometimes I'm working out at 10, sometimes I'm working out at 6. So for me, it's like I had to make that jump where instead of sitting down and being like, I have to have me time because I'm tired, I made it so that I have time to work on the business because I'm just tired of not having the money for this and that and then be like, okay, I'm always stressed out about this. And it's like now that I see that this works, I'm like, if the more I put into something is the more I'm going to get out of something.
And that goes along with like our why too. Like we started to realize like our why is, you know, we're tired of living paycheck to paycheck. Like, yeah, he has a good job. He's, you know, he's a supervisor for my parents' business, but it's still like, you know, not enough. It's enough to make ends meet, you know. So we want to do more. We want to be able to, you know, take our kids on vacation or, you know, do all the fun little things and stuff. So that was like our why, and that really has made us like buckle down, especially me, like being at home and stuff. Like I'm super busy with the girls, but like, so I don't have like an absolute like set time, especially because as soon as my alarm goes off and I get up in the morning, Violet's up. So my youngest, so it doesn't make it much time. Like no matter what time I set my alarm either. I tried the other day, like even 6 o'clock and she was still up. So I have to kind of do it like in the mom cracks. But I mean, even if you do, like they do know, even if you do, you know, like 15 minutes here, you know, 15 minutes there, you can get a lot done. Like I've noticed that too, like trying to use my time like better and be more intentional with my time and everything else. And like, 15 minutes, I can send out some messages, you know, like to either like check in with people, to like see if I sent like a message out, like an invite or anything, like I can follow up with them, you know, 15 minutes, you can get a couple in. So that's one thing that's helped me. So I don't always get like a whole power hour in, and everything, but you know, even 15 minutes, you know, a couple times a day, you can still get it in that way. So that's what's helped me a lot too. But yeah, I've just been more intentional with my time, you know, workouts, nutrition, being like a product of the product, which has been like the biggest thing is the product of the product is like what has helped me the most in the whole business. Because before I was working out, I was doing my nutrition and, you know, following that, but I wasn't completely, you know, like there'd be some days I wasn't, and then I wouldn't post anything. And I mean, still sometimes I don't get a post in like as much as I would like to, just because of how busy we are right now and stuff. But I try to as much as I can, and I try to at least post. Like Instagram stories has been one of the biggest avenues for me lately. Like that's basically where I have been getting everybody like that I've gotten. And yeah, and that's, I mean, this whole month has basically been people from Instagram for both of us. Yeah. Like our stories is like basically where they all came from this month, and it was our biggest month yet. So I definitely recommend doing posting in your stories. And I mean, you don't want to like every day do like an invite on your story, but like every, you know, couple days I'll throw a little thing in there, or sometimes, you know, I'll make it a bigger thing and everything. And that's like been one of the biggest things, because it's easy for people to like hit, one of the questions on the poll, the answers on the poll, and yeah, breadcrumb. But so it's like super easy for them to like hit one of them, and then you message them. That's what people sometimes want, you to come to them, but not like in like a quiet kind of way, like, so they're not like actually just putting themselves out there right away. So I think that's why I've gotten so much like hit from the Instagram stories. But anyways, so then I also wanted to like go over tonight quick too about, I know some of you guys probably already, I know you guys did, Jordan, and I think Jen did too, saw the Summers video that she did. Was that yesterday? Like yesterday. And it was about how she like made the 3 million in this business. And that like actually helped me a lot. Like she just did like this, it's like a simple recipe and that she kind of told. So I thought maybe I'd just like tell that in case anybody missed that. But because it really just put it like in a simple way for me. So like what she said, there was four things that she said that helped her. And number one was become an advocate for the product. So be a product of the product. And she said, just that was one of the biggest things that she started, was being a product of product, and making sure you're showing up, showing people, that you're doing it and it's working. And that's what gets people to, really like believe in it. I mean, just by being a product of the product, I have gotten like, there would be people I would send an invite out, like when I first started coaching over a year ago, and they either would say nothing back, or they would be like, not right now, or they can't afford it, or it's not their thing, but then, a year later, they're now coming back to me. Like, so being like consistent and, and being a product of the product, like once they start seeing that, yeah, Jordan, it does. And once they start seeing that, like it like gets them like, oh, okay, maybe this is a real thing. It's not, just a hoax. So I've definitely seen how that helped. And then she said about number 2 was make $200. And then also then to tell your $200 story. So that's one thing I need to work on more, because it's scary putting it out, out there about the business and stuff. And Ashley, I've been doing this since June of last year, so a little over a year. And then he started a couple months after me, but he wasn't like really into it right away, just with being busy and everything. And then a couple months ago, he started to get into it a little bit more because of a Super Sunday we went to. So a couple months ago, he started getting into it more, and that's definitely helped too. But yeah, so I've been a coach for a little over a year now, and like I wasn't as consistent in the beginning, but once I started being more consistent is when like this really started to work and stuff. So, but yeah, so like I was saying about the $200 story, like that's one thing I want to share more about. But so Jordan said, or yeah. And then teacher coaches to make the $200. Yeah, exactly. Cause then, that's, if you're making the 200, then you're teaching your people, and then they're teaching people, and, that's how it'll help you in your business and everything too. So yeah, definitely something that I want to work on more myself, and getting that out there. But yeah, I just thought that was awesome what Summer was telling about that, how she, made 3 million in the business. So it's definitely possible. So, and not that.
And just to kind of jump onto that, and you said something about some of the higher ranking coaches at the Super Sunday event, how they're just like normal people. That's one of the things I love about like Chad and Summer too. Like, they talk about that, and it's very easy to be like, oh, well, look at their income. But when they, Summer does a really good job about when she shares the business, and she very rarely shares the income part of it. But when she does, it's always small amounts. She doesn't talk about,
$65,000 a month.
Yeah, she doesn't talk. She talks.
Because no one would believe they could do that.
She talks about when they were $100,000 in debt on food stamps, and what that initial $200 meant to them. It meant, quitting her job so she could be there, for dinner with her family. Just things like that, and really really no one cares about that large goal, because that's not even on their radar. People aren't even ready to like put that into their goal list. Like, when we share about the business, it should be through the lens of like, how can we reach people like right now? Like if I was writing this post to myself, and how would I present this to a way that could actually benefit someone right where they're at? So like, obviously when we share, we're talking to like, to young families, or maybe if I'm reaching out to dads, like, do they feel like they're working too much? Would they love to get in shape and help support their wife or whatever? But it's I think it's so important to make it seem, obviously not salesy, but I'm not even going to go into that, because I think we all know that and we don't do that. But make it seem like relatable to people, and that is the cool thing about this, because it always is. Like, health is important. Like your health, like well-being is important, and that's always something we can relate it to. And it doesn't have to be salesy at all.
Yeah,
Which I think is the coolest thing.
for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Which was like awesome to me, especially because I did other MLM businesses, like, and it always did feel so salesy, like, the generic, hey, this is on sale, buy this, like, so that's definitely like, I love how you can just be yourself, and that's what sells, because people relate to that, like you said. So yeah, definitely, that is like awesome to, and like Summer said, like, yeah, it took her 9 years, I guess, to get there, but like, it is possible to get, you just got to put the work in, and you got to be consistent, and just share your story. So and another thing is like that, when I started seeing more, yeah, exactly, she never quit. But when I started like seeing more coming in, and being able to help more people, was when I really stuck to like the more of like, I was sending out invites, which was so scary to me. Like it took me almost a year until I actually started I sent out my first couple. That was easy, like, hey, I'm a new coach, just want to get people, to come try, my groups or whatever. Are you interested? That was easy. But then I'm like stuck. Like, where do I go? Like, what do I say now? I didn't know. And that's where a big like thing came in, where like I started watching more videos. Like, I would look up on YouTube, you can just type in, inviting for, Beachbody coaches or whatever. And there's so many different videos that come up. And that's where I started like watching more of them, and more of like Summer and Chad's videos and stuff. And so that has helped so much, that, and has gotten me to like, just, understand that part of it more, and how much that really does work. Because without like inviting, people, like, you really don't get that much, like, because like I said before, like, some people are scared, like, and it does take like an invite for them to realize. So like, I'll send out invites, and I'll be like, there's no way this person is gonna do it, and that's when I really started to see more people like open up, because that's like, I would send out an invite and like, there's no way, and then I get a reply back. They're like, yeah, I'm definitely interested. Like, this is something I need right now. And I'm like, what? Like, I was not expecting that from you, or, and that goes to show you, like, don't judge a book by its cover, because you never know what people are going through. And,
well, it's like my buddy Kevin that signed up as a challenger for Lift 4. Like, I put my Instagram story on, and of course I check back every once in a while just to see like who reacted to things, and of course one of them is always Ginny, so I get really excited, and then
she does it to me,
Ginny.
So
it's like,
it's our little game
we yell at each other every single time we do it to each other. But so I saw my buddy Kevin on there, and I was like, oh yeah, Kevin definitely hit that by accident. So then I just shot him the generic message kind of thing, and I kind of related to him a little bit and asked him kind of how he was doing, and his first response back was, hey man, I've been doing great, just fat. And I was like, okay. So I just went with it, and I was like, there's no way that he's gonna do this. And like I asked Ginny, I was like, hey, help me out with what to say, because I've done it here and there, but I haven't done it by myself to a guy before. I mean, it's different for girls. I feel like they can relate to each other a lot better, especially
yeah.
But like guy to guy, it's one of those things where it's just like I said, beer and pizza. And when I started talking to him about it, it just the relating to him and us back and forth to each other, it just became so easy because of, I mean, we've both gone through the same things. We've known each other since we were like 8 years old. So it was one of those where I never, ever in my life thought that he would be one that would even be interested, let alone to do it. And I sent him the information. I told him about Live 4. I told him about the accountability group, and his response back was, screw it, I'm in. And I was like, wait a second, what? And this is all in a matter of an hour.
Yeah, I was a little jealous at first. I was like,
Messaging
what?
me.
It takes me like a year to get somebody, and you just got someone in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, and then because of that one Instagram story, I have 4 other people that are like, hey, I start a new job next week. And they're like, hey, let me know when, or I say, hey, let me know when you start your job. We can talk about this more. And they all want more information. And one guy I talked to today, and he was like, hey, I start my job not this week, but next week. He's like, so I'll let you know, which is perfect because, I mean, we're going to finish Live 4 and then maybe do something and then start it again. So just for me, like talking back and forth with some of the guys and being like, hey, I'm going to be there right along with you to do this program because I'm learning just as the same as you're going to be learning. And I talked to Kevin and one of the other guys today, and I told him, and I said, well, what are you struggling with? And he said, well, I'm struggling with not going out and getting something to eat after I already packed lunch or something. I'm like, dude, I do the same thing every single day. So having that relationship with your challengers and with other coaches is just amazing to be able to just to have that relationship with them.
And with
it becomes like so easy.
And that's where like following up like with somebody is big too. Like that following up, you think like, you know, they're not interested, they're not getting back to me, but like follow up with people. I give it like 2 or 3 days, and like that is so, like some people are just like, oh my gosh, totally forgot, you know, like me, forget to text back and everything. So that is like one big thing that has helped was following up with people and just keeping up with them. So yeah, the fortune is in the follow-up. Definitely. I mean, it's unbelievable how many people that, you know, you actually get, even if you have to follow up like a couple times. I mean, there's one person I have been talking to since the very beginning of my coaching career, and she still hasn't committed, but every time she's like, I need this, I want to do this, you know, and I follow up with her, and she'll be quiet for a while, and then, you know, she'll see something that's like gets her interested again. And so I know at one point that she'll do it, and you just kind of have to love them where they're at, like, and don't get discouraged when people say no, because, you know, I've got a ton of no's, and then, you know, later on down the road, they'll come back and be like, you know, okay, you know, I am ready for this. So definitely don't get discouraged. It's going to happen. You know, don't just be like, I'm done. Like, you got to just stick with it and everything. So
that's really good, guys.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for sharing. It's so fun to hear you guys, because like your story is like exactly our story, like everything. And like you guys, like the common denominator was we got surrounded. For them, it was a Super Sunday. For us, it was a Success Club trip. But in both cases, like it was the community, and it was like, holy crap, this is legit. Everyone else started at the same place. The people on stage, they start at the same place. It's just they put in the work. They don't quit when things get slow. So why not us? Why the heck not us? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So we have less than a minute. Ashley, we'll go live in Team Brave and answer your question. But have an amazing night, you guys. Thank you so much, Martin and Ginny. Have a good night, guys.
All right. See you guys.